It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hello, this is Ivy Slater. Welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. So today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Lisa Lane. Lisa is the president of Lane Innovations, an e-commerce business based in New Jersey. Lisa is reinventing the way we rinse. That's right, the way we rinse, clean, and bathe. An aha moment in her shower was the inspiration to start her company. She knew she had a mass market problem solver in her head and brought Rinseroo from concept to life, despite having no clue where to start. Lisa, your story is inspiring and amazing. I'd rather you share more than me sit and read about you. So please join us today.
Oh, Ivy, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, and I'm happy to be here to share my story. What exactly would you like to know?
Well, let's start at the beginning. Okay, so you had this idea. Now, so many of us, we put things in our pocketbooks and we have ideas. We're in the supermarket, we have ideas. We're in the shower, we have ideas. We have so many ideas. And then they flip, they move, they go away. You had an idea and that aha moment. Share with us from that thought how you went to start building a product line of Rinseroo and what exactly it is.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. I had no intentions of doing this e-commerce thing at all. I was a pharmaceutical rep back in the day, and it certainly wasn't every day trying to think of, whoa, what can I invent? So it literally was an aha moment in my shower. I was at my beach house at the Jersey Shore with my extended family. There are 15 of us in all, plus 4 dogs when we're all there. So you can imagine
that's a full house.
It's a full house.
Woman to woman, that's a full house.
For sure. There's sand, there's dogs, going to the dog beach. So I was constantly cleaning showers and bathing dogs. And, we didn't have any handheld shower attachments in our bathrooms there. And I was filling a cup over and over to, clean the shower walls and clean the dogs. And I just thought there's got to be a better way. And literally it was that moment standing in my shower when I figured it out. I said, if I can just come up with something that I could attach to this shower head and allow me to point the water in the direction that I want without filling a cup, that could be a game changer. And really, it was such a simple concept. But, Ivy, as you know, sometimes the simplest concepts are what are, it was a mass market thing. Everybody has a dog, everybody has a shower. And I thought, I have to do this because I'm onto something here.
So how did you get started? I mean, you have patents at this point. This is not just, you have built a huge company.
Yeah. I'm honored to say that I'm a 7-figure seller now on Amazon. And
that is huge.
Yeah. I think I've done research. There's like 3 million people that sell on Amazon. 2/3 of them are men and only 1/3 are women. And how many women do $1 million and more in sales on Amazon? I'm one of the few, but there are about 2,000 of us internationally that do that. We're really barnstorming it online. It's a great thing. So this little idea. Yeah.
Blossom. Yeah. So did you know much about e-commerce or online selling or what did your background isn't pharmaceutical, so that's sales. And there's a concept around when sales and you wrote some books on it and we're really, strong in that industry. So you had a knowledge base on sales, but manufacturing and patents and e-commerce is a whole different ballgame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I had absolutely no idea, really. And I was excited when I had that moment, but part of me was like, whoa, like, how do I make this happen? I have no idea. How do you go from concept to fruition? But, nowadays, the world is our oyster online. So I did research. I did my homework. I'm like, there's a way to figure this out. I'm going to make it happen. And I figured it all out. I read books. I read this book. It's called The Mom Inventor's Handbook. I'm like, me, I'm a mom. I really can't.
They wrote it for me. They wrote it for me.
Had my name all over it. Yeah. But honestly, that book took me step by step. It told me how to figure out what is the market potential here? What are my potential margins? What kind of a margin do I need to have a successful product? And after doing my research, I realized, hey, my margins will be okay. This could potentially be my retail price, and it made sense. And I was like, I'm going to go for it. And I was able to figure it out thanks to the internet and some great books.
Okay, so we have a concept. We started figuring it out. Manufacturing, like how did you started sourcing, I assume?
Yeah, well, again, that book led me to a great engineer. He's based up in Vermont.
Right.
He had connections with manufacturers, and he made it all happen for me. He said, send me the concepts. I had a very rough prototype, sent it his way. He made my idea come into, pictures. And I'm like, wow, it looked amazing. Sent it off to the manufacturer, got some pricing, and then we were ready to go with manufacturing. But it was literally that book. I owe that. Actually, the woman who wrote it, her name is Tara Mosinoff, and she's a professor at USC, and she teaches e-commerce courses, and book is amazing.
Wow.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have a concept, we start selling. And then there's the concept of, creating some sales versus scaling a business.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey there for trying to use some sort of tactful word.
Mm-hmm. So what is the journey you're asking? How do I go from?
Okay. How did you go? How did you start scaling this, and where's the business going?
Okay. Well, I always find that any successful business is always thinking of the next best thing. You start with maybe a product, but then you're saying to yourself, maybe I can build a brand here. The Rinseroo is a slip-on shower attachment hose, but maybe I can find other things in the bath and shower space that make sense as line extensions. And I started thinking again, just, putting my little thinking cap on, and we've now come up with line extensions. We have a version that we can attach to the tub with a spray head. Actually, we have something else we're going to attach to a vacuum, believe it or not, that will suck dust out of the dryer that has the same.
Oh, I want that. Where do I pre-order? Let's not talking woman to woman here. That is speaking to me.
Right? I know. So, so now we have several new products in development that we're just going to add. And as you know, when you're selling on Amazon or online, the more items that you have to sell, the more you can scale it. And, we had good enough margins that we were able to do this ourselves. We never needed funding. We're putting all the money back into, the new products. And we're really, really growing it beyond just the name Rinseroo. It's truly going to be a brand. And we hope that someday, within the next 5 years, our goal will be that the Rinseroo will be a household name.
So, I'm so excited about this, and I'm so, as we've spoken a couple of times, every time I speak to you, I adore speaking to you because you are smart, you're innovative, and you are gutsy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel the same about you.
So what is, in building this, what has surprised you?
I guess the negative surprise would be that whenever you have something that's really successful, immediately people try to copycat. Yeah. So, and very much the case online, you've heard stories, Amazon, these great products come to fruition online, and then everybody's copycatting. And what happened was, what really bothered me is not only were they copying my patented product, they were using all of my images. There were pictures of me and my dog, and they were claiming that they had a Rinseroo for sale. And I just thought, gosh, it just got me so mad, all that hard work. And in an instant, people can copy it. So I immediately went to work to protect my brand. I hired an outside company. They're called Red Points.
Right.
They do brand protection. They will scour the internet. They'll use my copyrighted images and they do takedowns on my behalf to protect my brand. They'll remove any fakes out there. And they've been amazing in protecting the value of, my company and also the value of the unit cost per product. Once you get fakes out there, it's a race to the bottom on Amazon. Everybody's undercutting and, your price was $25 one day and all the competition that has fakes out there, now you're $10. So I didn't want to let that happen. And I think the key was just jumping on it as soon as I saw that happen. And there are companies out there that can help with that.
I love that. And I had I'm learning so much. My greatest gift in interviewing so many wonderful, amazing people is the what I learned from everyone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. So then when we look forward to where the company's going next, you have some exciting things coming down the pike.
Yes. Yeah, we do. We actually we now have a relationship with QVC. So we're going to have a potential air date on July 15th. So everybody
mark your calendars, people. Yeah. Mark your calendars, July 15th.
And the fun thing there is that I will actually be hopefully in studio. I don't know what the COVID situation is, but I may be in my own bathroom demonstrating my Rinseroo. So that's exciting. We're also partnering with Northern Response. They're the company that's worked with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley. They have those exercise machines.
Yes, sure.
They've worked with Proactive and turned that into a $100 million brand. And they've reached out to us. So they're going to help us scale internationally. And it's so exciting. They're going to be doing our distribution. That's all the stuff that I, as the inventor, don't want to manage. Right. They have the relationships with the buyers and they have the distribution network in place. And it's exciting to think of, they literally told me in 5 years, Rinseroo will be the household brand. So I'm hoping that can happen with them. And
that's another calendar mark. Let's look forward in 5 years and get back on here.
We'll come back.
Whoever the two of us are. And one thing, that you just alluded to that I think is really smart is know your sweet spot. Mm-hmm. You just said, I know as the inventor, this is my sweet spot. And you are giving examples of how you have hired out some people, whether it's internal team or external team. Mm-hmm. You hire out to build the business, the brand mm-hmm. that's in your vision, and you could still stay in your sweet spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know what my limitations are. Like you said, I'm a salesperson. I'm great at sales, but I don't like unloading trucks. I don't like, doing bill of ladings and things like that. I don't like distribution, but I love to sell and I love to market. And yeah, I'm happy. I think any successful e-commerce business knows how to delegate to the people who are pros. There's so many great people out there that can help you scale a business. You just have to find them and bring them on board. And that's how it happens. Can't do it all yourself.
No. And I think people who get stuck in their own way of not delegating mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. are stopping their business growth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And not staying true to their vision.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could spend literally all day packing orders. Like, is that a priority? No. I mean, if I packed orders all day, I wouldn't be growing the business, right? So, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So one more thing is, what would you say to other women leaders and other leaders who are listening today who have that inkling, that have that idea? I was moderating a panel, just last night, and I was speaking, and we were talking about this, being bold, being a trailblazer, and what it takes to do that. So what advice would you get to others who are listening, who have that thought and have that idea?
Well, I feel like, as you alluded to earlier, there are a lot of people who have an idea in their head, right? They may have said, oh, I should invent something like that. And they just don't. 90% of all people probably have the idea in their head, but they don't act on it for various reasons. Maybe they're too busy in their family life, or they just don't have time with a full-time career. But, I feel like if you truly have something that you feel like potentially could be mass market, do the research, do the homework. I wouldn't say jump in and just do it, but it's worth a look. And if you do the research and find that you really potentially have something worthwhile, absolutely go for it. It's not that difficult. Once you figure out how to make it happen, you can also build whatever it is. I mean, in my case, it's e-commerce, but I know you talk to people in all kinds of industries, but it's so fun to work for yourself and to make an idea come to fruition. It's one of life's greatest pleasures. I look back and I think, gosh, this is so much more fun than pharmaceutical sales. I work for myself. I get to be on podcasts with Ivy Slater. It's just so enjoyable. And I love to pat myself on the back, honestly. It's great. So yeah, go for it for sure.
Okay. I'm going to ask one more thing about the elephant in the room. People, and I've heard this come up numerously lately,
Mhm.
is the fear of looking ourselves in our face. What if we fail? What if it doesn't work? Can I actually do this? Who am I to think? Did that ever go through your mind, and how did you navigate it?
Yeah. I mean, I think with any entrepreneurial endeavor, there's always fear. In my case, fear was a motivator. I never wanted to move forward without having done it. I never wanted to look back and say, what if? I was willing to risk, to a certain degree. I didn't put my house on the line or anything like that. I knew what it would cost, but I was willing to risk that to make this dream happen. So yeah, it's risky, but the reward is worth it in the end. And I always said, there's an expression, I think it's like something like you have to go out on the limb because that's where the fruit is, right? If you don't go out to the fruit, you'll never get the fruit. It's so worth it, but do your homework first.
I love that, Lisa. Do the research, do the homework, and, go out on that limb, and you owe it to yourself to really go for that sweet, juicy piece of fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it. How can our listeners learn more, follow? I adore you. So
thank you so much again, and I adore you as well. It's so great to be here. Well, our website is rinseroo.com, rinseroo.com. I'm Lisa Lane. I'm on LinkedIn. I love to talk with other entrepreneurs. If there are people out there, we can learn so much from each other. And I think, Ivy, that's how you and I initially met.
exactly.
Through LinkedIn. We're on Instagram, official Rinseroo, and also TikTok, Rinseroo. So yeah, we do a lot of fun videos to promote the brand. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today, Lisa. And I am excited to follow all the things that are going on with that brand. And I will tell you, when you have that vacuum attachment, that's the day we meet for the coffee or cocktail.
Thank you so much, Ivy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And listeners, this is how we close out the show. Take a moment and notice, what was your biggest aha? What was your takeaway from listening today? What was meaningful to you, and why was that meaningful? When you do that, put that in the show notes. And most importantly, take that next action. Commit, take the action forward. Great business, great lives are built from consistent action. See you next week.